we have servicing equipment, parts, shenanigans. So you're gonna need 10.5 litres of oil. You can choose either 5 weight 30 or 5 weight 40. This is for the 313 CDI. I've got a pollen filter, air filter, oil filter, and a fuel filter. Did I already say that? Anyway, it doesn't really matter. I've also got these, so a little trick for any van that, you know, is going to be doing a lot of mileage, any diesel really. I use the same stuff as like oil treatment. You chuck it in with your oil. It's just a compound that goes in, helps the engine to reduce wear and stuff like that. So I used to use it on one of my old Golf TDIs that lived up to like 230,000 miles. So the stuff is really, really good. It's a simple service, shouldn't take more than an hour, fingers crossed. But I'll show you all the bits. It's pretty simple, but yeah, let's get it done. Right, so as I mentioned, what you're going to need for this is you're going to need oil of choice. You're going to need a oil filter. You're going to need some oil treatment, although that is optional, you don't have to do that. You're going to need an oil pan. For this one, you're going to need at least a 10 litre pan. You're going to need a air filter. You're going to need a pollen filter, and you're going to need a fuel filter. So a normal service is just oil and an oil filter. This is a full service. First off, got to remove this. So you can remove this in many ways. I'm going to be lazy. Usually you do this with like a flathead screwdriver, but I can't bother going inside, so this works just as well. Cool. Now we have to remove this clip, which is going to be a bastard, of course. Screwdriver should do the trick. There we go, clip number 1. And then clip number 2 is off also. Right. So now that that's undone, we can unclip the oil inlet hose, which I'll show you how to unclip. So you essentially got this right here. It's got a little flap on the underneath you need to push to your left hand side, which then slides the inlet tube out. Then these are literally just in push plugs, so it just fits in by popping out. 1 and 2. This is just literally just resting, so it's not an issue whatsoever. And then on the other side also we have similar push fitting. This is for the positive jumper for the battery. Essentially to take that out, it's the same as the oil inlet. And then this comes out nice and easy. This is your air box, which we can go through setting the air filter shortly. Now we can remove the engine cover. Really simple again, just pops off, no problem. Now your oil filter is just down here. Not sure if you can see it. Just down here, here's your oil filter. Right, so this is the fuel filter as expected. I'm hoping it's as simple as it looks. I've not actually done a full service on a Sprinter before, but no, doing a fuel filter and a full service on any vehicle is usually very, very simple. Let's use my little pokey. Where is it? My little pokey. Alright, nice and simple. That comes off there. Really easy to unclip. Now, as for these, I do have fresh clamps in case I have to take these off and they don't go back. Okay, so simply, you literally just poke a tiny screwdriver in there, it pops straight off, and then you can pull the hoses off with no issues whatsoever. Obviously, you don't want to use a screwdriver end against that because you'll break the line. No, you're always going to have a little bit of residue, these all left over, it's not an issue at all. And then you've got these two little clips, again, should be able to just flip them out. No problema. This just pulls straight out. Beautiful. So we've got the fuel filter out, no problemo, but this is in there good and tight. And the one that I've got, it's obviously a direct match, but it doesn't have the sensor installed. So it may be a case that I'm an idiot and I ordered the wrong part. I'm gonna have a look online. Right, ordered the wrong filter. Gonna get the other one ordered and picked up tomorrow. I can send the other one back. But in the meantime, still drain the oil and change the oil filter and all the other filters. And then tomorrow morning we'll finish the job. So right now, just gonna crack on with bits that we can do. So first of all, let's strain the oil and see where we get to. So obviously take your filler hose off, so then there's no pressure in the engine and it can drain properly. And then, yeah, well, you're not going to see me draining it because I'm getting under the van now. So, friendly reminder to check your pollen filters, because I don't think that's ever been done. We've got a nice new one right in there. I'm going to do the air filter now, which is in that main cover. I'm guessing it's going to be in just as bad, if not worse, condition. Checking nothing drops in the engine, because that would be a bad, hugely bad day. Because then you'd need to, take the flipping engine apart. So you're going to need a T20 to get these little Torx bits off. I'm going to give this a spray down with some brake cleaner in a second as well, because it is filthy, man. Got shit all over it. That should do the job there. Right. Got a nice crispy new one, mate. Straight in. No issues. Got to make sure it's seated properly. So make sure you run your thumb to make sure the edge is seated inside the shroud properly, because you don't want to be pinching the airbox over the top of that and then getting a bad seal. There's no point in doing anything if you've got a bad seal anyway. So that then clips back in to there. Got a nice crispy seal all the way around, and then just like the middle screw, and then we get our little T20 Torx bit. Oh, right, shoot, it's like nice and easy, because you don't want to do these up too tight. It's not anything that is structural, so it's just got to be pinched tight. We're finally back from Eurocar Parts, and we got the right one. Third time lucky. This actually has the water overflow attachment. So, really simple. This goes back in the housing section. You can see, then we get fuel lines back on.
But I cannot see, I'm legally blind.
Should go on. I'm gonna have to get a rag to clean it up with it. Push these pumps back on. Just snap in place. There we go. You can now route this back to there. So there's underneath here. That's the hose. No, there we go. Now we just need to put those fuel line hose is back on. It should be fairly simple. So fuel lines are on, nice and solid again. We have our moisture overflow hose connected. We have an oil filter in situ. Just got to put this drain hose on the end of this. It literally just goes straight down there. Now we can start putting some oil in it, and this is quite handy actually, because then it means I can get an oil canister and not try and spill it everywhere. Now this is gonna take, I think it's 10.5 litres. I'm gonna put in the first two. I know for a fact it's at least 8.5, so I can put in 2 canisters and then figure out how much of the third I need to put in. So, golden syrup, although this is probably not very tasty. Well, maple syrup, bro. He said, tastes like shit. After checking on internet, it's 10.5 litres. So what I'm gonna do is, because I've done 8 already, I'm gonna do another half one of these, which would take us up to 10. And then the 2 oil treatments are about half a litre. So that would take us up to 10.5. So let's chuck in half of this, and then we can obviously check the dipstick. A little tiny tea. Right, 10 litres on the spot, or on the dot. What I can do now is give this a wipe. And give it a little spray down with some brake cleaner. Obviously brake cleaner also evaporates real quick, so there's no risk of anything there. Now we can put the air box back in. First things first, we need the heat shield. Just there. And these 2 little bolts. There we go. Set that in. Make sure to put your sensor clips back in. Good. Nice and snug. Make sure this is clipped in on this side properly. Now we can clip our oil back in place. And there we go, all done. Now, time to start it up, get it up to temperature, make sure she runs well, and then go from there. First of all, let's check the oil level. Should have settled by now. So, pop this out, give it a quick clean. Back in we go. So touch low, but we're above minimum. So we can start it up, get it up to temperature, then we can add our oil treatment. And if we're still a little bit low, then I can add an extra half a litre or so. She was a bit of a ropey start to begin with, because obviously we changed the fuel filter. So whenever you change the fuel filter, obviously the lines naturally get a bit of an air bubble in them. So that's why I was a little bit ropey to start off with, but she's running like a dream. Just got to leave her for 10-15 minutes, and then we can chuck the oil treatment in. It's been about 15 minutes. Engine is now nice and warm. Put the heat shield off real quick. Get our screwdriver. We can put in our oil treatment. Bam. Fresh oil and some oil treatment. can't hurt the engine. So once this is decided to finish draining, which might take a couple of minutes, we can do the second one. Then we can run it again for another 5 minutes, let it sit, and then check the oil level. And we should be just about right. It's like maple syrup go on your pancakes. One day, Jelly, I just started running, and I did not stop because life is like a box of chocolates. Do apologise. I've lost the plot many years ago. Right, I can put this back on. I mean, any excess will burn off anyway, but still. And we're back in action. So go back there. Everything is good. That's on, that's on, that's on. It's already tightened that. That's in, that's in. Cool. Start it up again, let it run. Right, that is service complete. So in total it took me probably an hour and 20 minutes. I ended up taking a day because one of the parts was wrong, had to nip to the shop. So I guess that's not really it taking an hour and 20 minutes, but hey ho, these things happen. Anyway, I'm back to painting the interior. Finished doing the second coat on the front, and now we are doing the back, so you can join me whilst I finish painting.